All right, welcome back to Saturdays at Derek's. I'm Mike,
And I'm Derek.
and this week we're going to be doing our contractually obligated 2014 year in review. Because everybody does it, and somehow we have to feel like we're professionals or something.
Well, yeah.
Well, there was cool stuff that happened in 2014. God damn it!
Well, it was an interesting year.
I guess. Well, let's just move right into movies that came out over the course of the year that we may have actually marginally given a shit about. So, movies we saw: A Million Ways to Die in the West. I liked it. It was funny. For some reason, people didn't like it, although I'm not sure what the reasons for that were.
I don't get it either. I think it was just too many silly potty jokes and not enough character development, I guess. I hear one of the reasons that people didn't like it is because of Seth not being the right person for the role of the main character, and it kind of detracted them.
Why? How is Seth MacFarlane not a pussy? Not a bitchy pussy. I thought he was a very good bitchy pussy.
I thought he was too.
He complained about all the right things, and there were funny moments. There were cute little weird beats, and he didn't do setups for cutaway jokes, so it wasn't Family Guy. I don't know. I liked it. I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was funny.
And I think some of it might have also just been disappointment because it wasn't Ted. So.
Yeah, I guess.
And it was good. It just wasn't as good as Ted. And I think people were expecting it to be as good as Ted.
Right.
We can talk.
Okay. Well, we're getting a second Ted movie, so we'll just wait and see what happens there. So Godzilla.
Also good.
Yeah, liked it. Was surprised at how quickly Bryan Cranston died.
Yes.
Oh, wait, spoiler alert. I was surprised at how quickly Bryan Cranston died. And that at the end of the day, it didn't have a hell of a lot to do with his character.
No. The spoiler alert, I was surprised at how much Godzilla there was after hearing how little Godzilla there was.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely worth watching.
We saw Tusk this year.
Which we already gushed about in the last episode. It
made us slightly giddy, fully pleasant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing we talked about last episode was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I was middle of the road on it. We've also talked about Spider-Man 2, which I liked. Not a perfect movie. There were definitely things you could bitch about, but I at least enjoyed like the first third of it.
Yeah, I agree. There was faults, but they weren't as prevalent as other people claim they were.
Yeah.
Speaking of faults, Transformers 4. I don't think you've seen this yet, but I have.
No. Well, I didn't feel like I needed to.
And you didn't.
After the first three, I just figured it was gonna be another Michael Bay splody fest with a really weak plot.
Ding, ding, ding.
Alrighty. Look at me. I can tell the future. Alright.
Movies we did enjoy this year.
Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. Dug it. It was great. They just did a really good job. The costume design for everything was really nice. The plot was nice and well thought out. The action was really good. It definitely kept me engaged through the whole movie. I had very little to bitch about Winter Soldier.
Yeah, while I don't really love the shield costume for Captain America, I thought it worked fairly well for the movie, and the movie itself was quite pleasant. Actually, quite.
Sounds like you're describing a blowjob.
It was okay. There was too much teeth, but
if you get kind of that bondagey thing going on, a little bit of pain ain't too bad.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Let's see. X-Men: Days of Future Past. Also really liked it. There were definitely more holes I could pluck in it than with Winter Soldier, but compared to, say, X-Men 3, it was pretty goddamn good. It was very solid.
This is amongst my favorite X-Men movies. Unfortunately, still shares the same problems with X-Men movies, and like the leaving canon from the comic books. The story delineates a little bit too much.
Yeah, but for a follow up to First Class, it was good.
Yeah,
which I also liked First Class. Those are probably my two favorite Fox X-Men movies.
Yeah,
out of the whole 5 now. If you don't count the separate Wolverine flicks.
Right. Yeah, I consider this possibly my third favorite. I actually like this better than I like First Class.
Okay.
I would go probably X-Men, the first X-Men movie being my favorite, second X-Men movie being my second favorite. This would probably be my third favorite. It's kind of close to the second X-Men movie. I like the second movie, the way that it worked out and everything. I didn't really like the design choices again for Nightcrawler, but I thought the use of his power and the use of his character were pretty well thought out, well done.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I would consider this about my third favorite. The one that caught us off guard that we actually both ended up enjoying was Hunger Games: Catching Fire.
Yeah, I had nothing but bitchy things to say about the first Hunger Games movie. My pat explanation for how I felt about Hunger Games was I already saw The Running Man, and I didn't really need to see it again.
Yeah,
and that's because that's really what that movie came down to. It was The Running Man with different characters in a different setting. However, Catching Fire really caught me off guard. I liked how much deeper it got into the characters. I liked how much it really delved more into the politics of the whole thing, and the Hunger Games themselves almost just seemed like a secondary plot tool to move everything into the more political realm and where they're going with the whole revolution thing. So I'm actually kind of interested in seeing what's after this.
Mockingjay 2.
Yeah, and I did not think I was going to give anything even approaching a shit about that movie at all.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way. I just was kind of underwhelmed with Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
I knew where they were going, but it did end up feeling kind of cliche.
Yeah.
But this one actually brought a lot more emotional investment to the movie.
Yeah. Well,
and it just flowed a lot better and was much more interesting.
Well, and there was more depth to the characters. I actually ended up giving a damn about these characters by the end of Catching Fire. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to the rest of it. It should be good.
Another movie I don't think you've seen yet that I have seen is Edge of Tomorrow.
No, I haven't.
This is a Tom Cruise film, in which case it's Tom Cruise's Groundhog Day in space.
Yeah. Well, I've seen the trailers. I know generally what the plot is.
And the trailers were underwhelming, but after watching the movie, there's a lot more to the movie than that whole thing. It did end up being a much better movie than the trailer led it on to be.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I definitely recommend seeing it.
All right. Well, Tom Cruise has been kind of over the last few years, Tom Cruise's movies have been kind of a get up my hopes and then let me down kind of affair. Jack Reacher was not as good as I was hoping it was going to be. That weird, what was the name of the movie where the aliens had taken over Earth?
War of the Worlds?
No, not War of the Worlds. They had literally taken over the Earth, and he was living in like this plastic floating house. Where the pool was hanging off of the bottom of it and shit.
Yeah.
That I really got my hopes up for, and then ended up being just a monstrous disappointment.
Hold that thought. I got to get rid of the cat.
Yeah, but I don't remember what the name of the movie was. But I thought it was going to be really good, and then it just ended up being a lot of cliched bullshit. Right down to they stole the end of the movie from Independence Day.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I walked out of that movie so bummed, and then I got online and saw somebody that had written this really positive review about what a wonderful movie it was, and just kind of lost my fucking mind on him for like half a second. So,
I'm gonna make this guy cry.
That's how I felt about that. Yeah, no, it turned into a protracted argument for a couple of days. Anyway, the Lego movie. Was not expecting to dig it as much as I did.
No, really cool.
Yeah, it was. It was a great movie. I love the characters. Batman was hilarious, and the fact that they turned it around and turned the whole thing into a little kid trying to identify with his father. It was very touching, very heartwarming, and kind of unexpected at the end of it because it was the Lego movie, so it's just thought it was going to be some silly shit with Legos, and it ended up being a lot more. I was really happy about that.
Yeah, no, I mean everything was fun. The music, everything, the comedy, the action sequences, the way they moved, the animation, everything worked in that movie, and it ended up being really good. Yeah, and then of course Guardians of the Galaxy, the big hit that nobody expected except for maybe me.
Yeah, no. Once I saw the trailers, I knew that it was going to be something special. I knew that there was something really nice coming. And I've said it before on the show that I was kind of worried about Guardians at first, just because it's one of those properties that how do you translate that onto a movie and be accurate but make it appeal to a broad audience, and they just nailed it down. Everything was great. The script, the casting, the special effects. There are some people that are kind of bitchy about the villain, but let's be honest, Ronan. That movie wasn't about Ronan the Accuser. He was a plot tool to introduce the Guardians of the Galaxy and move the Infinity Gauntlet storyline forward. That's all Ronan was about. That's all he needed to be. And other than mugging some really weird faces, it pulled it off really well.
Yeah, I kind of liked Ronan. In the end, I kind of liked him as a villain. You didn't need to have somebody who was all in your face. You didn't need a Darth Vader because you want your Darth Vader to end up being Thanos.
Yes.
And I think this almost would have been served better if they hadn't put Thanos in it. If they would have left Thanos kind of in the background.
Or just talked about him. I mean, mention the fact that he's the adoptive father of Nebula and Gamora. But, yeah, not putting him on screen as much as they did, that might have worked. I mean, it probably would have left a little bit more mystery for the people who aren't familiar with the comic books and don't really know who Thanos is or what Thanos is about. My God, do you think Death is going to show up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a very exciting movie. Probably my favorite movie to come out this year.
Yeah.
No, what would you say is your favorite movie that you saw this year?
Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, definitely. But it was a movie where that opinion was constantly, or it was a year where that opinion was constantly shifting and changing. Because at the beginning of 2014, and I think it was at the beginning, Thor: The Dark World came out.
No, I think that was late last year.
Was it late last year?
I think it was late last year.
And now it was late 2013?
Yeah.
Okay, I would have to go on IMDb and check it specifically. But I know I at least went into the year going, well, Thor: The Dark World was fucking awesome. And maybe that was a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I think so.
And then there was Lego and Winter Soldier. But
yeah, because Lego was really early on in the year.
Yeah.
And that movie it felt like it was going to be hard to beat.
The second Hobbit flick, was that?
That was the end of last year.
It was the end of last year again? Okay.
Yeah, those always come out in December.
But I also, really like that. But yeah, after Guardians of the Galaxy, good luck topping that. It was fun. It was action packed. It was a great story, great adventure movie. It was heartwarming in all the right places, irreverent in all the right places. It really tied together a lot of great elements, and good fucking luck doing something better than that.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, there was a lot of shit that came out this year that we wanted to see, but we couldn't due to either financial reasons or time reasons. And there's a couple on this list that we didn't really want to see, but we just want to talk about real quick. One of the movies that I wanted to see that came out kind of later this year that I missed, and it wasn't high on my list of movies to see, but as a movie that seemed kind of cool, was Fury, the Brad Pitt film where he is a leader of a battalion of tanks, marching across, I believe, Germany, and it looked really interesting. I think the director, I can't remember who the director was, but he had done a bunch of movies that were really well done, and this one really seemed like something that I kind of wanted. If I had the time and the money at the time to go see it, I would have liked to.
Yeah. Well, and that's been just kind of the major overall issue with going to movies this last year, is just not having the funds to do it when the movie's out.
Yeah, and having a hard time finding out when the budget theater was going to have things.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's why I didn't get to see Tusk in the theater. It's why I didn't get to see Sin City in the theater. And I still want to see Sin City. The reviews I've read sounds like it's just about as good a movie as the original Sin City, but Rodriguez stacked some stuff in there that didn't need to be in there.
Yeah.
And it kind of took away from the core of the Damned Kill Force story, which, good, bad, or otherwise, it can't be terrible.
Yeah.
It's just not the innovation that the original Sin City was, and I think the fact that it took 9 years to bring the sequel out,
and it
really hurt it.
I really don't understand why it took 9 years, but
I don't know. It was a huge hit. Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez like working together. And there's probably stuff that was going on that I'm not aware of.
Yeah, I don't know. Robert Rodriguez, he put out the 2 Machete movies in that time period.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else he was up to. And the Machete movies were okay, but he probably could have done this instead and then moved on.
Yeah.
And maybe he just needed a breather. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a shame. It's a shame that it took this long to get out of development hell.
Yeah. Well, and then it just turned around and died. It's unfortunate because I've read the comics and they're really good goddamn stories, and I know how obsessive Robert Rodriguez is about being true to Frank Miller's source material. So it's kind of mystifying to me how this could have possibly been a bad movie.
Yeah,
but when it comes out, when I might get a chance to see it, I'll check it out. I'll find out. It will probably end up sitting down and watching it, and we'll talk about it on here and tell people what assholes they were for not supporting this film when it was in the theaters.
On the lighter end of the comic book adaptation films would be 300: The Rise of a Nation. I wasn't super excited to go see it, but I was intrigued to go see it. I did enjoy the original 300 film.
Yeah, it was all right.
And it looked interesting. So
yeah, well, Hadley in it, which I love. I dig her work. Lena Headey is on my short list of actors who I will go see a movie just because they're in it. And there's like a half a dozen people on that list, and she's definitely one of them. She's a very good actress. I like her work, and have you ever seen her on talk shows?
No.
See if you can find something on YouTube, because the real her, or at least the way she comes across on talk shows, she seems like somebody that would be a shit pile of fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
Tattoo covered and fucking attitude for a mile. Okay, The Expendables 3. I did not see it, not for lack of funds, not for lack of time, but definitely for lack of interest. Fuck The Expendables. They're not good movies. Kiss my ass. I saw the first one, and it was a stack of singular scenes wrapped in a bunch of famous faces.
Mm-hmm.
And there was very little substance to it. It was just, it didn't engage me. It didn't hold me. It was just this big action scene, this big action scene, this big action scene, credits. Give us money.
They're bad movies. But sometimes you don't have to go see a good movie to have a good time. And I didn't see the other ones in the theater.
No, but you get kicked out of theaters for ragging on a movie in the middle of it.
I didn't see them in the theater, but I did watch them on Netflix when they were free.
Yeah.
Or when they were, the price of renting Netflix.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed them both. I didn't love either of them, but I kind of enjoyed them for the popcorn bullshit 1980s explode fest.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. You know me. You know how much I love watching a bad movie, if nothing else, just to goof on it. We can make a bad movie fun, but I just had no respect for The Expendables. I mean, I will watch a dog shit B movie and laugh my way straight through the whole thing, and love the experience for the opportunity that film gave me to kick it in the nuts.
So you're saying this one had tried to be a little bit more corny and kind of more self-aware of its badness?
Yeah, it took itself too seriously.
You would have found it more pleasant? Yeah, I can see that. A movie Jolene wanted to see, and we had it slated to go see it for a month or so, was Big Hero 6, the animated film about the giant robot based on another Marvel property.
Yeah, and I want to see it, and I still want to see it. I'm interested in it. There's not a whole lot I can really say about it until I've actually, seen it. But it definitely seems like a fresh enough, different enough film that it hopefully will be interesting and enjoyable to watch. If nothing else, just for the breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. Got really good reviews, and I'm hoping to see it. A follow-up movie to a movie that was surprisingly good was 22 Jump Street, and I guess you just saw this recently.
I did. I just got to finally see it. I surprisingly, 21 Jump Street was good. I really enjoyed 21 Jump Street, and I thought it was just gonna be another one of those, rehash, reboot, reimagining. Pick your stupid Hollywood word.
Kind of Starsky and Hutch in it.
Yeah, just another one of those movies. You give it a watch one time and go, yep, that was as shitty as I thought it was going to be, and move the fuck on. But it was surprisingly good. I actually really enjoyed 21 Jump Street. It had a lot more heart to it than what I was planning on seeing, and it was funnier and more clever than I had expected out of it. So I was a very happy watching experience. 21 Jump Street, or 22 Jump Street, not quite up to that level, but pretty good. I'd watch it a second time. But I really felt that movie, 22 Jump Street, was more entertaining for the fact that it was incredibly self-aware. It was a movie that knew that it was a sequel to a movie that was a surprising hit. Mm-hmm. And they reference it through the whole thing. Like right from the beginning of the movie, they're like, well, it certainly is a lucky thing that there was another church across the street from the church we used to work in. Whew. And we've got a much bigger budget and a lot more support from the from the police department. So they've given us a lot more stuff to play with, and here, let's go in and check it out. And they brought back all the characters from the previous movie, and Ice Cube's character is very forward, and he's like, yeah, you're here to go into a college and track down drug dealers, just like the last time. And you just need to do everything just like the last time. And they make those just like the last one jokes all the way through the movie because they know, whoever wrote this had a very fun time chuckling through writing a script that was, yeah, we know. We made movie, the studio didn't expect it to make money, and now they're making another one because they see fucking a cash cow, and they want to slaughter that motherfucker and get everything out of it that they can. And they spend the whole movie goofing on the idea that this is a throwaway sequel. Mm-hmm. And the funniest part of the whole movie, aside from the chubby girl picking on Jonah Hill for looking like he's old as fuck but pretending to be a college student, is the final sequence of the movie. The end credits, they're running through like BS pseudo trailers of other sequels for 21 Jump Street, where they like go to Sunday school and they go to space camp and all kinds, everything, any kind of school they could think of. They make it, it's 44 Jump Street, it's 63 Jump Street. They even do one where they bring in Seth Rogen to play Jonah Hill's character, and they're goofing on, what, he doesn't look different, he looks completely the same, everything's fine, it's no big deal. And then they cut to the next movie, Jonah Hill's back, and he's like, yeah, good to be here. What do you mean contract dispute? There was nothing going on. It's always been me. Everything's fine. So it's super self-aware, and I love that, irreverent goofing on themselves thing. I really dug that. I thought it was a great part of the movie. But again, and possibly because it was that kind of movie, the plot itself was nothing hugely interesting. It does suffer a little bit from that, but they're having so much fun making fun of that fact that you can kind of forgive it.
Movie I was more interested in, I don't think you even heard about this when we were talking about it, was Birdman.
Yeah, no, I was that completely unaware of it. And part of that problem being that I don't have regular television, so I have to kind of find out about projects from like nerdy websites. Yeah. And somehow that one just sort of escaped.
This was Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's character's life. Michael Keaton's character had done a TV show where he played a superhero similar to Batman. And he was never able to get past being Birdman. So it was him dealing with it, having a midlife crisis, and wanting to go back to being that character, and that character almost kind of like talking to him. The trailer made it look like he has like a nervous breakdown and almost becomes the character again. But I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't really know how it ended up being. But I also heard it was a very good film, and did not get a chance to go see that. So that was another one I missed out on. Movie that we're still hoping to go see is The Hobbit.
The final Hobbit movie.
The final Hobbit
Battle of the Five Armies.
Well, now they're talking about possibly doing more down the road. Peter Jackson has expressed interest in finding more Middle-earth content.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there more?
Well, there's a Silmarillion, and then there's all kinds of like little short stories that he never finished.
Okay.
That Tolkien never finished.
Yeah.
So it's there's stuff that he wants to do. I could not see the Silmarillion being. It was hard to read. It was like the Tom Bombadil portions of Lord of the Rings, where it was just like.
Yeah, but that's kind of how I felt through most of those movies.
Yeah, it was. It would be a hard movie to transport over because it's basically the Bible of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, we're hoping to go see that probably in the next week or so, maybe next weekend. Go see The Hobbit. Another movie I wanted to see that I didn't get a chance to see, it wasn't high on my list, was Interstellar.
Okay, completely not on my radar. Also, one of those things I just didn't run into across the internet.
Well, it was Christopher Nolan directed. Basically, the Earth is doomed, and they send Matthew McConaughey out to find an inhabitable planet.
Mm.
And not a huge Christopher Nolan fan because I think he makes his movies too long.
Yeah.
But it sounded interesting, and it's it got okay reviews.
Yeah.
It wasn't like.
So maybe something to check out on Netflix.
It wasn't mind blowing. Well, it looks like it actually got 8.9% on IMDb and 73% on, or 8.9 out of 10 on IMDb and 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it actually got pretty decent reviews.
Okay.
But not something I was.
2 hours and 49 minutes.
Yeah, it's a Michael.
Yeah, that's a Christopher Nolan movie.
It's a Christopher Nolan film. Let's see. How to Train Your Dragon 2 came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
The first movie was okay.
Yeah, I liked the first one. But I don't know. I guess I didn't like the first one enough that I was like drooling at the idea of a sequel, because so many cartoon movie sequels are just almost direct-to-video throwaway schlock that it's hard to get behind those sequels anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just from so many studios just kind of training us the idea that this cartoon movie was really good. The ones we're doing after it are gonna suck because we're just going for a cash grab. We're putting those characters on the front of a DVD box so that your kids will fucking nag you into paying for it.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get excited about something like that. Okay. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I really, really wanted to see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, but I just couldn't afford to go to it when it came out. Because Rise of the Planet of the Apes was really good. Mm-hmm. It was finally a good follow-up movie in the Planet of the Apes series. Because the stuff from the 70s was really good, and I felt that this new take was both faithful and very interesting.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes did what the previous remake couldn't do, and that was
make a good movie.
Make a good movie, yeah, and actually tell a story that had a statement.
Yeah,
and that was one of the things that really bummed me out about the previous reboot, was that it took everything, because the original Planet of the Apes were very much about making the statement, as most sci-fi from that time period was. It was about making a statement, and the remake of it completely robbed the movie of that statement.
Yeah,
this movie
had no soul.
Yeah, this movie actually put a statement back into the storyline.
Yeah,
and actually made. I mean, it was just really good. It did everything that I wanted from the original Planet of the Apes, and the sequel looked to be very, even possibly even better.
Yeah,
where the war between humans and apes is about to begin, and once again the humans are going to completely fuck it. And I was really looking forward to seeing it. I'm still looking forward to seeing it. I just wish I'd have gotten to see it in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna see it, on video, one way or the other. Hell or High Water.
It's out now, so.
But it's something we haven't been able to get to yet. And Night at the Museum.
Yeah, I want to see it mostly because Robin Williams has passed away. The first movie I really enjoyed. The second movie fell short for me. But this is quite possibly Robin Williams' last film.
Yeah.
There might be another one where they got it partially filmed, but I think this might be his last film, and I want to see it just out of respect for that.
Oh yeah, I can definitely understand that. Because I enjoyed Robin Williams' work a lot. Though, has it occurred to you that Ben Stiller may have actually killed Robin Williams in order to get the receipts up on that piece of shit?
I can't comment on that. It's just cruel.